Good morning. This is Thursday, February 1st, and this is the work session with the Board of Supervisors and Veterans Affairs. I'm Lisa Heddens, with our Supervisor Lisa Heddens. With me, our Supervisor Linda Merkin and Supervisor Latifa Faisal, Director of External Operations Sandra King, Director of Internal Operations Alyssa Wignall, County Auditor Lucy Martin, Assistant Auditor Lisa Markley, Communications Assistant Bryce Garman, and Brett, I'll let you introduce yourself. And then we'll start with going over revenues on your budget.
Okay.
And you need to turn your mic on. Thank you.
I'm on. Brett McLean, Story County Veterans Affairs. Going over revenue. That's pretty much is an unchanged proposed numbers there. Estimates the same thing. With 50 in miscellaneous, 10,000 is the annual legislation money funds that we get from the state of Iowa, and then $100 under donations.
Okay.
So that's no change there on that one.
And then we'll go on to your expenditures.
And I wrote this proposal up in December, presented it to the commission. They made some changes, and so what you have in front of you is their changes. But since then, one line item that I was just looking at was vehicle fuels and maintenance is at 101% right now. 7 months into the budget cycle. And so I might do a re-estimate of $500 in that area. I think I put on here $400 on a re-estimate.
Yeah.
And
would that be then projecting for 25 at?
Yeah, I think that's probably, I looked up and I'm increasing. So I share the vehicle with general assistance. And year before last, I was at 92% of the VA was using it 92% of the time. And then now we're at 95. So it's doing outreach, it's doing nursing home visits on Fridays, and then the hometown outreaches on Wednesdays is probably. So yeah, I'm the hog of the car, using it all the time.
So you want to reestimate this year to 500?
500, and then proposed for next year, I think better just leave it the same.
500.
Leave it at 400 or move it to 500?
500. Yeah,
Okay,
5
move it
and
to
5.
500.
5 and 5.
Gotcha.
What I meant
Okay.
to say, yeah. By looking at that. Then another area that I wanted to talk about, because it's been brought to my attention that we have 300 veterans markers that are unmarked. And so we're looking at 300 down there on the very last one, care of graves.
Okay.
We're looking at needing to order 300 grave markers to get those out. And this is just the Ames Cemetery alone. Somehow they got missed or taken or something. And we just recently, that was brought to my attention in January. So that's going to be about a $3,000 expense to go mark those unmarked graves.
Are those sort of brass?
They're
On the pointed.
Yeah, we call them grave markers. They're really flag holders. If you look at the back of them, there's a place for the United States flag to go in. And so that's just a signal for the Boy Scouts when they go out and put flags in for Memorial Day. That's what they're looking for, and that's where they put the flags.
So 3,000 in addition to the 5,000? Or are you
or is-
talking about re-estimating this year?
Well, so that's one figure that I'm given. We need 300 to be 3,000 to replace that. So I was kind of talking to them. We could either do it all at once, or maybe we can do, half one year and half another year.
Mhm.
So I think if we raise that from, the proposed for next year is 5,000. I think if we raise that to 6,000,
Do you have any, do you
This
have
current-
any money in your current budget you could use for some as well?
we do have some stock that we can use, but we don't have 300 in stock.
Okay.
Already
I
over
should
that.
be able to hit about 100. I should be able to get like 100 markers to them on that. So that's kind of dilemma. And actually, it's on the commission. I put on the commission's agenda in January, and they moved it to March to talk about it.
Hmm.
And we had talked about the money that we have in the marketing line item. Is more than what we're looking like what we're gonna use. Right now, we're at 11%.
So your
So
amended budget is 143, but your re-estimated is 145.
Yeah, right now we're looking to have to amend as it is, because there's, even though he's got 1,500 extra in marketing, the rest of them are like rent payments.
Mm-hmm.
He spent 80% of that budget. He spent 126% of the Kara Graves budget.
So it's really the bottom line we're looking at, and you're 2,000 shy already.
Mhm.
But you're saying for the markers, you have about 100 in stock
yeah,
already paid for that you could get out there.
yep.
So if you had another
These-
1,000 in next year,
Would that only cover another 100?
Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
how much does 1,000? How much are those markers?
Oh,
$10 each.
yeah, 3,000 for 300, it'd be 3,000.
So they're $10 a piece.
Mhm.
So are you
Okay,
gonna get them
so-
all out in one year, or is it gonna, are you better off?
Well, I mean, yeah, this is kind of interesting because with this, plus we still have the regular ones that come in. I mean, during the year, the funerals that happen during the year. So how do we go back and catch up 300? So I guess I was thinking maybe we do it in two years.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we'd end up adding 3,000 to that. You
If
know,
you want- if
make
you-
it eight, we could make it 8,000 and then have all the money in there to do it in July.
What made it 5,000 for this fiscal year? Did you just increase it by 1,000 to
Well,
cover any that come in? Cause you re-estimated at 5,000.
right.
So you have
Um,
$1,200 yet to spend.
Yeah, because right now we're negative $787 on that line item.
Okay. But then above and beyond that you have another $1,200 since you re-estimated to 5,000.
Yeah,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So is the 5,000 what you think you're gonna spend normally every fiscal year?
Well, it's,
Or does that
they're
include-
going up in cost. And we're losing a lot of veterans
Mhm.
at the same time.
So I guess my question is, since you re-estimated to 5,000
Mhm.
from your, from what you had before,
Yep.
is, do you have any money in, I think this is what Alyssa was trying to say, is do you have some money left over that you could, I know you've got 100 already markers.
Yep.
Do you have, is there any money within that 5,000 that could purchase some more markers this fiscal year before the end of June yet? Or is that, do you think that will all be used without buying?
Well, he can't because his overall budget, he's in the
Um,
hole.
Yeah, on,
Doesn't
Oh,
matter what's in
That's
the
very
line
On that
item.
li-
That's, yeah, no, that's right. Yep.
on
Thanks.
that line, yeah, on that line item, we've already gone through 3,000 and $3,787. So
Right.
But
no,
let me
no.
ask you this question.
3,000.
What do you use that money that's 5,000 next year? What else are you using that for besides markers? What else do you need to pay
That's-
out of that?
That's everything. That's what it's used for.
Just the markers?
Yep.
Well, then you've got enough money at 5,000. Because you say 300 markers are going to cost you 3,000 and you've got
Mhm.
5,000 in there. And all you use it for is markers.
And that leave it, okay,
You don't need more money in,
that'd leave us 2,000. Right?
Yeah.
If we
Right.
leave that at 5,000 and get these markers, that'll leave us 2,000 in there.
And you said you had 100 markers already.
Yeah,
so you really,
that might work. Just, yeah,
So we leave it at 5,000 then, but we know that
Yeah.
we're gonna have to add some money to.
I
his
got,
budget.
yeah, 'cause I can do 100 markers for them now. Leave it at 5,000 and that'll still bring us right back to where we're at this year. But
Mhm.
we're like almost $1,000 short this year. So what do you think about 6?
I don't know how that helps you this year. We're gonna cover this year. We'll need to cover this year and we'll do that. I don't know why you need 6 next year if you're only gonna buy 200 markers at $10 each, which is 2,000. That leaves you 3,000 of the 5.
Outside of these 300 that you're missing, like what do you usually? What would you be using
What I
this money
guess
for?
that we-
More markers
That
as
we
they come?
use. Yeah, per
Replacement.
year.
Sometimes
Has-
it's replacement or as used.
Yeah, replacement. I really don't think there's any being stolen. Okay, there's some counties that have that problem. I've been to Bell Salvage and I says, hey, if anything shows up like this, just give me a call.
Like happened in
I
Storage
should be
City.
the only one bringing them.
Years
So,
ago.
so we get damaged ones turned in.
Mhm.
I take them to Bell Salvage and then we put that money back into the county.
Well, if the
But yeah,
5,000,
it's a hard number. Usually Ames, right around the middle of May, Ames will come to me, Ames American Legion. So all American Legions in the counties are taking care of our cemeteries, which is a good thing, because
Mhm.
otherwise I'd be doing it probably. So they come to me, and Ames does theirs once a year. It sounds difficult, but they go back and they put them all on the ground, and they're usually around 60 that they'll want in May.
Every
All-
year.
Every year, around May, they'll come in with a list of names of around 60.
And that would be in addition to these 300 that you're behind
Yep.
already.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the other areas of the county, they pretty much come in and get markers as they have funerals.
so if you have
So-
5,000 in your budget next year,
Uh-huh.
that gets you 500 markers. You're putting 100 out now,
Okay,
which means you need 400, you'll have 400. You'll have 500 markers next year, but you only need to put out 200. Because you're already using these 100 to catch up. So that leaves you 300 markers for the year.
Okay.
You said somebody gets 160, that leaves 140 or 60, that leaves, said Ames got 60?
Mhm.
You got a couple hundred. You'll have with the
Okay.
5,000, you'll have a couple hundred markers left. We don't need to add anything to that line item.
leave it at 5.
Leave it at 5.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, I think we can make this. We can make this work.
I don't have any.
All righty. And then the other thing, funeral services. So we always try to marry that up with what general assistance paying. So Aaron and I, we met a few months ago and we come up with $2,075 per funeral. And we have 6,000 in there. So
Okay,
yep, and I think our average is 5,000 on that one, but yeah, that's just.
I do have one question on your transportation. The van, so is that the van you got from the VA?
Yep.
So is that lease gonna be every year for 3,000? I guess I was
Yeah.
thinking that we got the van and then it was like ours. Or yours or what?
Yeah, yep. It's 3,000 a year, paid in July.
Okay,
So I think July 7th of this year, we sent out 3,000 to them. Now it
okay,
costs more than that to lease it. We're just like, we're like subleasing it from the VA. They're really
Okay.
the ones that are leasing it from GSA.
okay,
But
okay.
yeah, that's 3,000 a year. If we would have got a new van, it'd be 3,500 a year. So if they ever turn this one in and get a new van, then that's gonna go up. But we only have 22,000 miles on this.
Is it, I was gonna say, what's the usage like? Is it worth the 3,000 a year?
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe 20 trips a week.
give you an example. This month alone, we have 5. It's picking up. I picked up another driver, so we have 7 drivers. And we have 5 rides. Here it is, the 1st of February for this month. We average one a week. Well, from when we started it till the end of December, we're at one a week on the average, if you look at that 6 months. Not only that, we're finding veterans that we should be talking with on benefits. We found a POW this way. I didn't even know we had a POW anymore in the county. We found a POW that way. So yeah, so it's $3,000 due in July. But let me tell you something else here. We talked about that CBOC that was going to be built in Ames.
Mhm.
So now the federal VA's fiscal years they're different than ours. Theirs starts in October. So the second quarter of FY25, they hope to have a 5-year contract in place for a lease. So they want to lease a building, 5-year lease in place the second quarter of 25.
Do they have a building identified? Are they already talking?
They're
to
working
someone?
with McFarland Clinic. I don't think that they have a building identified yet, and then they hope to be in the space by the end of FY25. We're talking about spring of 26, fall of 26, right? Contract signed the spring of 26, and then the fall of 20. There's that 25. So our FY25 starts in July, right?
Correct.
Ours does.
So March of 25, the year of 25 is when they want to do a contract and end by that fall, probably open the beginning of the next year. So this lease in this van may go away
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I was
Gotcha.
gonna ask.
because they want to put it so that their customers, their veterans that they're going to be seeing there, they're going to go out 30-minute drive from the location. It's kind of a squirrely map that they have there, but they've
Gotcha.
got these points of 30 minutes from where the location's going to be. My guess, it might be on Dayton Avenue where they're building out there, but I don't know that.
Sure.
I'm just guessing that.
Yeah,
but-
new building then.
So anyway, it's going to happen. So the van just may be in place until that happens.
Gotcha.
Then everybody can go there. They're going to have to transfer. And that's another problem. They get used to certain doctors.
Sure.
And so I don't know, it might be if the transportation starts dropping off, but right now it's picking up.
Okay.
So
Sounds good.
exciting.
Yep.
Mhm.
All right.
I've been staying on them about it. About every time I get a chance, I ask the question, and they know that's all I come to the meeting for sometimes, to find out where the when's it going to be built?
All right.
I seen it 2 years ago on a PowerPoint presentation, and I thought if it made the